Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping straight into English language learning. It's a big topic.
It really is, and we've got some great stuff. You shared resources on pronunciation, fluency, avoiding mistakes, all that.
Yeah, exactly. So our plan is to pull out the best bits, the really practical insights to help you boost your English, whatever your level.
We'll unpack exercises, look at common pitfalls, and, find effective ways to build confidence and sound more natural.
Sounds good. We're looking at insights from various places, articles, expert advice, online discussions, even info on language exchange apps.
A real mix. It gives us a pretty well-rounded view of what works.
Okay, let's get into it. Pronunciation feels like a solid place to start. It's fundamental, isn't it?
Totally. It's not really about losing your accent, more about just being understood clearly.
Right. Clear communication.
Exactly. And some of the resources offered some fun ways to practice this, like tongue twisters.
Ah, Peter Piper. I remember those.
Yeah. They seem silly, but they really make you work on specific sounds, especially consonants that are close together. Fuzzy wuzzy, stuff like that.
They definitely tie your tongue in knots. It's very physical.
It is. And the resources break down speech sounds. You've got consonants where you block the air.
Like P. Kike.
Right. And those can be tricky if they're different in your native language. And then combinations like sh, sh, the.
Oh yeah, that is a classic challenge for many learners.
Definitely. And that's where something like the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, can be, super helpful.
How so?
It gives you a specific symbol for every single sound, so it takes the guesswork out, especially if English sounds are really different from your first language.
Like a universal code for sounds. Makes sense. What about vowels? They seem easier, but maybe not.
Well, vowels are where the air flows freely, but English has long ones, short ones, sometimes they're silent.
Like the E on the end of make.
Exactly, or vowel teams like E and read. It gets complex. One great tip was the morning vowel warm-up.
In front of a mirror.
Yeah, really watching your mouth shape for A, E, I, O, U. The long sounds like in ape or easy.
Yeah.
It helps you feel the difference.
I like that, making it visual.
Yeah.
The resources also mention common pronunciation errors, even for native speakers sometimes.
Oh, definitely. Things like saying should've instead of should have. It's super common.
Or dropping sounds, like saying probably for probably.
Exactly that. Or mixing up accept and accept. Or adding an S to anyway. It's just anyway. Just knowing these common traps helps.
Awareness is the first step, right?
Totally. Then you get into the really confusing stuff. Words that look or sound alike but mean different things.
Homographs, homophones, homonyms. My head's spinning already. Yeah. So homographs are spelled the same, like bow to bends or the thing you tie. Different sounds sometimes, different meanings.
Okay.
Homophone sounds the same, but different spelling, different meaning, like two, and two.
The classic example.
Right. And homonyms are spelled and pronounced the same, but have different meanings, like spring the season or the metal coil. Wow. Okay, so how do you practice those?
Well, one suggestion was using games, like an online one called Pancake Panic, apparently, to sort of drill the differences.
Games make it less like work. What about words that sound really similar, like just one tiny sound difference?
Minimal pairs, like ship and sheep, or cat and cut. The difference is tiny, but the meaning changes completely.
So how do you work on those? Just listen really carefully?
Yeah, listening exercises are key, maybe with a partner saying the words or just recording yourself and listening back, focusing on that tiny mouth movement difference. It helps your speaking and your listening.
Makes sense. So we've got sounds, tricky words. What about the rhythm of English?
Syllable stress. Super important for sounding natural. In words with multiple syllables, one gets the emphasis, like photiograph versus photographer.
Right, the stress moves.
Exactly. Using things like syllable stress tables can help you internalize those patterns. And then there's reduced sounds.
Reduced sounds.
Yeah, especially the schwa. It's that lazy huh sound you hear in unstressed syllables, like the a in about or the o in problem.
Ah, okay. That little unstressed vowel.
It's everywhere in spoken American English. Mastering it makes a huge difference to sounding natural. There was even mention of a schwa song to help learn it.
A song for I love it.
Yeah.
Any other pronunciation boosters?
Yeah, a couple more. Rhyming exercises or games, like memory matching with rhyming words. Build your feel for sound patterns.
Okay.
And finally, shadow speaking.
What's that?
You listen to someone speaking English and repeat what they say almost instantly, like an interpreter practicing.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It is, but it's amazing for improving your intonation, your rhythm, the whole flow of speech.
Okay, that's a really solid set of tools for pronunciation. Let's shift gears now. to thinking in English. That feels like the next level up for fluency.
Absolutely crucial. One expert really emphasized getting past that constant mental translation. It just slows you down.
So how do you start doing that? Move to London.
Huh. Well, that helps. But no, you don't have to. It's about creating an English environment wherever you are. Dedicate time every day.
To what specifically?
Listening to English podcasts, radio, music, reading English books, blogs, watching YouTube films, TV series in English. Active listening is great, but even just having it on in the background helps your brain absorb the sounds and rhythms.
Passive immersion.
Yeah. And another key thing, try to speak using only the words you already know.
Really? Not try to use new words.
It sounds weird, I know. But resisting that urge to translate or look up every unknown word forces you to be fluent with what you've got. You find other ways to say things. It builds resourcefulness.
That makes sense. Work with your existing toolkit.
Exactly. And start small. Just name objects around you in English. Chair, lamp, window.
Okay, simple labeling.
Then move to word pairs that go together naturally, collocations like make the bed or strong coffee.
Got it. Words that hang out together.
Yeah. Then build short phrases. There's a blue car. I need strong coffee. Build it up. Make it a daily habit, even just 5 minutes.
Small steps, big progress. What about actually, talking?
Talk to yourself, seriously. Narrate what you're doing. Okay, now I'm chopping onions. Describe your feelings, your plans for the day, out loud, in English.
So become your own English commentator.
Pretty much. Apparently, some psychologists think our inner voice develops from internalizing spoken language, so speaking it helps you think it.
Fascinating. Does writing help too?
Definitely. Writing things down in English, shopping lists, notes, a journal, maybe even blog posts reinforces it visually. It connects the thinking and the producing.
So hitting it from all angles, listening, speaking, writing.
Right. But language is ultimately social, so practicing with others is vital.
Language partners.
Tutors. Yes. Focus on thinking in English during those conversations, even if your vocabulary is simple at first. Use those language exchange apps, like the one mentioned that connects you with native speakers learning your language.
Tandem learning, right?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And for a real challenge, try using a monolingual dictionary English definitions for English words. Forces your brain to stay in English mode.
Ooh. That does sound like a challenge. Okay, thinking in English vital. Now, what about those common slip-ups? The mistakes learners often make.
Ah, yes. There was a great list of these, like mixing up lend and borrow.
Always tricky.
The key is direction. Lend is away from you, to someone. Borrow is towards you, from someone. Remember the prepositions. Lend to, borrow from.
Lend to, borrow from. Got it. What else?
Me too versus me either. Simple but easy to mix up. Me too agrees with positive statements. I love pizza. Me too.
Okay.
Me either agrees with negative ones. I don't like horror movies. Me either. Listen for the negative words. Don't, not, hate, can't stand.
Match the positive or negative. Makes sense. What about culturally specific things?
Saying congratulations for a birthday. In English, it's usually for achievements, graduation, new job.
Not just for something happening, like a birthday.
Exactly. Happy birthday or have a great day is the way to go. It's often a direct translation issue.
Good to know. Saves potential awkwardness. What about time words? Since and for.
Another classic. For is about a duration, a length of time. I worked there for 5 years.
Okay, duration.
Since is about a starting point. I've known her since 2010. Starting point versus length.
For duration, since starting point. Clear. Any verb mistakes.
Using eat for medicine. We take medicine, pills, vitamins.
Right. You don't chew a pill like food.
Exactly. And then the dreaded lay versus lie.
Oh gosh, yes. Please help.
Okay. Lay means to place something down. It means an object. Lay the book on the table. Lie means to recline yourself. I need to lie down.
Lay needs an object. Lie is what you do yourself.
Perfect. And a mnemonic trick. Lay involves place. Lie involves recline.
And lay place, L-I-E, recline. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Any grammar traps?
Double negatives. Using nobody with another negative it should be, I didn't see anybody, not I didn't see nobody.
Right, one negative is enough.
Exactly. Also, using the with general plural nouns, we say life is short, or dogs are friendly, not the life is short, or the dogs are friendly, unless you mean specific ones.
Those little articles. So tricky. What about sentence structure?
Yeah, things like, I like so much skiing, or I very like skiing. The grammar's off.
So how should you say it?
I like skiing very much, or I really like skiing, or I absolutely love skiing. Put the very much at the end. or use stronger adverbs like really or absolutely.
Got it. So being aware of these common errors is key to sounding more polished.
Definitely. It just cleans up your spoken English.
Okay, this brings us to the big one. Tips and tricks for actual fluency. How do we get there?
Right. Well, the number one tip, hammered home in the resources, is speak, speak, speak. Prioritize speaking practice above all else.
Find ways to do it daily.
Every single day. Talk to language partners, find an online tutor, use apps that have speech recognition, join online classes, or just narrate your life out loud in English.
That talking to yourself thing again.
It works. And getting a personal tutor is highlighted too. That guided practice and instant feedback is gold for fixing errors quickly.
Makes sense. What else? Immersion.
Yeah, expose yourself daily. Media, music, podcasts. Change your phone language to English. Just surround yourself. And use technology apps, YouTube videos with adjustable speed and subtitles. Huge help.
Tech makes it so much easier now.
Oh,
And using the right level materials.
crucial. Don't use stuff that's way too hard or way too easy. Find your level, take a placement test if you need to, and work from there. But also,
What?
challenge yourself. Step out of that comfort zone. Try watching without subtitles sometimes. Talk to native speakers even if it feels scary. That's where growth happens.
Embrace the discomfort. I like that. What about specific skills?
Keep working on pronunciation. Use tools like Youglish to hear words in real context.
Right.
Do those exercises we talked about, and learn whole phrases, not just single words.
Sentence mining.
Exactly. It makes you sound more natural, less hesitant. Learn, can I have a cup of coffee? Not just cup and coffee.
And idioms. Ugh. Those tricky phrases, like bite the bullet.
Yeah. Understanding idioms, workplace ones, cultural ones, makes your English much richer, more native-like.
Okay. What about the fear factor? Scared of making mistakes.
Huge point. You have to accept that fear and discomfort. Embrace mistakes. They're not failures, they're learning opportunities. Developing a tolerance for ambiguity, as one expert calls it, is key.
So be okay with not being perfect.
Absolutely. Perfectionism kills progress in language learning.
That's really encouraging.
Yeah.
What about bigger life changes for immersion?
If it's possible, yeah. Moving to an English-speaking place, getting a job or hobby that uses English, hosting English speakers, setting English-only times at home. Big steps, big results.
And planning conversations, does that help?
It can boost confidence, yeah. If you know you need to talk about a certain topic, plan some vocabulary or phrases beforehand. Less panic in the moment.
Like prepping for a meeting. What about grammar obsession?
Don't overdo it. Focus on being understood first. Good communication is the goal. Grammar accuracy improves over time with practice and exposure. Don't let grammar rules paralyze you.
Communication over perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And keep building vocabulary naturally. Read stuff you enjoy, watch things you like, use spaced repetition apps or techniques to make new words stick.
So it's a whole package deal.
Mm-hmm.
Practice speaking constantly, push your limits, use the tech, learn phrases, accept mistakes, and don't stress too much about grammar.
That's a pretty good summary. It really is a journey with lots of parts: pronunciation, thinking patterns, vocabulary, grammar, confidence. But the keys seem to be consistency, immersion in ways you enjoy, and actually using the language.
Thinking directly in English, embracing mistakes as learning, finding fun ways to immerse yourself. Those feel like the big takeaways.
Definitely. Small, consistent steps add up.
Which leads perfectly into our final thought for you listening. Looking at all these strategies and techniques, which ones can you realistically weave into your life starting today? Even one small, consistent change can make a real difference over time. So what's the one thing you'll do right now to deepen your own deep dive into English?